business.
Yeah.
Can I put this behind y'all?
Yeah,
It's the same for like in the city. It's not really, you don't really find friendly people.
yeah. Everyone's just
Yeah.
No life in the streets, huh? They can murder you on tape now. How I'm supposed to eat, huh? When my pockets getting raped, why? Officers oversee the demise of the family. Prisons are property. I'ma buy one and release me. That's the sound of your last dream. That's the sound of your dead son. How he only 12, but you saw him and he had a gun? Problems on.
So, my name is Henrietta and I'm 25 years old. I've just come back from China. So in China, I went in as an English teacher. However, I ended up teaching dance as well and joining a band as a dancer, becoming a model and a hair model, and also working at a hospital. And then when I go back to China, I'll be working at the hospital. And I'm from London. Yeah, I'm from London. So my background, like my educational background was like engineering and like medicine and stuff like that, but I wasn't really finding anything here. And also I'm a middle child and I always feel like people kind of forget about me. So I just needed to be like independent, do my own thing, go somewhere new, become like confident in myself and stuff. And like China was there. Before that I was working in a bank, which was cool, but it wasn't like doing it for me. So I was like, you know, let me just go somewhere different. And I've always been fascinated with China as well. So I went and it was like the best experience ever for me. Best decision I've made. So my degree was medical engineering and my master's is performing arts medicine, right? So I couldn't find like any job that related to my skills and stuff like that or to my degree, because I don't think I was that passionate about it before when I was like at university to do work experience and stuff. So I was kind of at like a disadvantage in that sense. So I was working in a bank because it was like an easy thing to do, good money, professional, all of that, worked my way up, but yeah, it wasn't for me. But also I just needed a fresh start and everything, so I was like, you know what, let me just go somewhere, and China was calling me. Yeah, and I was actually supposed to go to China like 2 years before that, and after doing research about, you know, black people in China, I refused. I was like, I can't do it, I'm not that confident, I don't want people staring at me, like I just can't deal with it and stuff. But when you're ready, you're ready, and when I went this time around, I was ready. So first time ever. Even at university, I stayed at home because it was just a commute, it wasn't too far. So this was literally the first time I've been independent, lived in my own place, let alone a different country. Like it was the first time, so it was a really big step, but I was ready for it.
Oh, one time rather than like baby steps.
Yeah, exactly, just went all the way. Honestly, when I went to Shenzhen, it was just meant to be. Usually I'd be nervous about going to a new place or anything like that, but for some reason I just like that fear just wasn't there. It was like I was ready to go. So thankfully, like the job I was working with, they organized like where you stay, like they provided us with an agent to help you find a place to stay and stuff. So all of that process was easy, visa, registration with the police, all of that technical stuff, I didn't have to worry about it too much. So it was just about settling in, and I feel like that, like as soon as I stepped there, I was like, yeah, I want to stay here. Like I said, I was working at the English school, and I'm passionate about dancing. So a friend had told me about like an opportunity to teach dance because she was leaving, so I took it up. And one of the other dance teachers there, we got to know each other, and she asked me, oh, you know, we're in this band, are you interested in joining Adrian's band, basically, for China? And I was like, yeah. So that was it. So like that's one thing I love about China, like just the opportunity to network, and that's something I didn't do here. Like I'd be so afraid to talk about, even if like I'm passionate about something, just to communicate with someone else. No, but there, I don't know what came over me, I just became a different person. So yeah, it was like so easy how it happened. But working with Adrian was amazing. Like he, from the beginning to the end, he, even till now, like he just makes me feel so like, he's so encouraging. He's literally like the big brother in Shenzhen. Like he's so, like his spirit is just so good, he's so inspirational. Everything about him I love, like just the group in itself as well. Like he really like bonds us together, he like brings us up, and he's really cool. I like he's humble. I feel like he's humble. And like he works hard in the rehearsals too. It's not just, oh, okay, I'm the singer, you guys do your thing. Like he goes hard and we all feel it. It's like real family spirit. So yeah. And like I was so grateful because with my work schedule, it kind of seemed like it would be impossible, but I was gonna do it. There were times I had like 8 a.m. starts the next day. I didn't care. Friday night, I would be there performing and stuff like that, rehearsing. So we got to go to, I can't remember the city now, but like a couple of different cities, a couple like beach performances and stuff. So I couldn't do all of them, but the ones I could do, loved every minute of it. So yeah, it was really cool.
So how did you find the different places like to Shenzhen?
They were kind of more or less similar. Like the people who would come out to support us would go to those places too. So it was like the same kind of crowd. The energy was always good. You always still felt welcome, and like they really just liked to see us perform. So yeah, like I think Shenzhen, the other places, was all the same in that sense. Trying to get time off was really, really difficult, but I still managed to go to Singapore for about 4 days for the Chinese national holiday. So that was cool. Various trips to Hong Kong, so it wasn't too far from Shenzhen, but not that much traveling. But hopefully next time I go, I'll try to do more. So like again, I wasn't in Hong Kong for too long, like many times and stuff, but I definitely noticed the difference from Shenzhen and Hong Kong. And the thing is, Shenzhen's not too, villagey or anything like that. It's not too mainland China, but obviously you have lots of people from different places within mainland China who come to Shenzhen, so you see everyone. But Hong Kong is very much like England. Like I felt like I was in London when I went, from the red buses to the sockets, like where you put your plugs, the way how people are, the level of English that people speak, just little things like that. I definitely felt like, oh yeah, I see the, influence. But yeah, it was cool.
So which one you like more?
I don't know. I feel like I love Shenzhen and the ability to hop over to Hong Kong whenever I want to. So I'll say Shenzhen. Shenzhen's a good mix of westernized and, mainland China.
Which district did you live in?
Futian.
Which district will you be living in?
Futian, maybe. Yeah, still Futian.
And you're talking about scheduling time off in the school. Did you work at a traditional school or an English or like a training school?
Yeah, it was like a training school, so a language center. So that's why our hours were so like ungodly hours, because where the kids didn't have school, like on a weekend, they came to us. Or during holidays, we weren't allowed to like go on holiday during the summer holiday break. That was like our busiest time and things like that. So it did get a bit hectic, but how it is.
You adapt?
Yes, I adapted. You have to, otherwise it'll just be too difficult. So, okay, so somehow there's like a hair company in Guangzhou who reached out to 2 of my friends independently, asking if they know anybody who would like to model their hair for them, and they both had suggested me. So the company contacted me and they're like, oh, are you interested in modeling our hair? So they basically have like wigs and weaves and things like that that they ship out to England, America, Canada, all of those places. So they asked me if I could model for them. So I ended up doing that. So it was quite interesting. I got free hair, which was fun because hair can be very expensive. And they just took pictures of how to install it and things like that. But to find somebody in China who could install it could have been a bit tricky, but luckily I had I had people. I'm just happy being a model. I'm not like, I don't know much about hair. I just know how to do my baby hairs or style my own hair, but in terms of wigs and all of that, I don't know. Yeah, I'll just sit there quietly and smile. Yeah, so even before for China, before Adrian, I was teaching dance. It was like to be a Zumba instructor, but I'm in love with Afrobeats kind of dance, so I kind of like mixed the two. So that was interesting. So throughout my whole year, that's basically what I was doing, teaching Afrobeats in China, which is obviously very new, and they loved it. They loved the sound, they loved the feel, they loved the music, they loved the way they moved their body, and yeah, it was a really interesting experience. Let's see, as much as I like to take selfies and pictures, sometimes it's not fun when you're rushing to work or you're tired as whatever, and you've just got Chinese people like this right in front of your face, or pretending to take a selfie with you in the background, and things like that. The language barrier, definitely. Like, thankfully, I've picked up enough because you're kind of forced to. They don't speak English, so I've gained quite a bit of Mandarin knowledge, which is cool, and I'm grateful for that. But just the frustration of not being able to communicate everything you want to communicate, that could be annoying. And another thing is explaining continuously at the back of the taxi that, oh, I'm from England, even though I'm black. So in a way, it's like, it's a bit annoying instantly, but you just get into it, you just explain to them, you educate them that, oh no, like in England, multicultural, you have black, white, Asian, like literally everyone's there. So yeah.
How do you say that in Chinese?
That I'm from England? 我是英国人. Yeah.
How do you explain that England is a diverse place in Chinese?
Oh, well, I kind of mixed the Chinese and English, but I'd probably say like 英国 黑色, 白色, so that's like, you know, you've got O'Haran, like you've got the black people, you've got the white people, and that's about it. But yeah, another thing, the spitting, I think that would be the main thing. They spit a lot in China, and obviously, you know, people need to get it out, that's fine, but it's the initial sound that they make, that sound right from the stomach, you know, they're so passionate about it, and then they just go anywhere, you know, that's a bit of a problem, but it is what it is. My field, so my master's was or is performing arts medicine. So that's a good mix between like my love for dancing and things like that, and then my love for science, right? So as a performing arts medic, you can treat dancers or musicians who've like injured themselves and things like that. However, I'm not really skilled in that, but I have the knowledge. So the opportunity that I had at the hospital in China was like perfect because it just allows me to teach everything I know to the doctors and the nurses, so I could train them not only in that but like in medical English. So they might know things like the orthopedic department, pediatrics in Chinese, but they don't necessarily know the English. So it's like I'm there to help them like with etiquette, medical English, conversational English and things like that. But when I go back, I'll be in a managerial position. So that's like the blessing of it all, that, you know, not only am I doing what I love, it's like at a higher level too, which I didn't ever know I could do, not here anyway, in England. So yeah, opportunities in China I think are very much there, and you're more willing to seek it. So I like China for that, it brings it out of you. I did meet somebody who's Chinese in China, however he's British like me, so even though he's Chinese, it's like our bonding moment was the fact that, oh okay, we're both from England, we both studied engineering and we both worked in a bank. So that was like our first thing of, what? Like Shema? Kind of thing. So culturally, it wasn't too Chinese because he, you know, he wasn't born or raised in China and stuff like that, so we had already like an understanding, but it was still a bit different because our, I wouldn't say culture, but it was more like religious beliefs were a bit different. And like whilst we were dating, it was okay because it was just like, you know, well, I like you too, nothing too serious, but like, you know, it tries to get a bit serious, then you realise that, oh wait, sometimes because I believe this, it might affect how I make certain decisions and stuff, or it might affect how he makes certain decisions. So it was just a bit like, oh, a bit of a clash. But the way how things turned out is that he had to go back to England anyway, so we've remained very, very good friends. So everything is like on a positive note. So in terms of like dating like a Chinese person, I haven't really experienced that. I've had Chinese guys who liked me, but that's very different. So yeah.
What did they do when they liked you to let you know?
One of them was very, you know, out there and asked if I had a boyfriend. I said no. He asked, can I be your boyfriend? So there was no beating around the bush with that. The others, they just try to kind of woo you. They message you all the time. They're really nice. They go for walks, and they're very friendly people, which is cool. So, and I'm a friendly person, so I'd never like be like no or anything like that. It's just, I'll get to know you, but if I don't think it will work, then it's alright.
Yeah, but you said he had to go back to England. You're in England right now.
However, his work takes him to California and England, and California and England, and then maybe back to Shenzhen. So, and besides, there's somebody, so, you know, I can't really be looking elsewhere now. So, yeah.
She's awesome. Like I said, I was told that.
Okay. Being a black British person in China was very different because there were a lot of Americans. Like, I feel like I learned more about America in China than I did about China. Like, I had a lot of American friends. So some of the Chinese people assumed I was American, but then they'll say, oh, but you sound different. And then I'll have to explain, oh, well, you know, I'm British. But there was a bit of conflict sometimes at work about, you know, how do we spell a certain word and how do you pronounce something, but that's all fun and games, so I don't really think that's an issue. But I feel like my main message that I'll say is, don't be afraid to explore, don't be afraid to travel, don't be afraid to like step out of your box, because I was very much in a bubble or like sheltered, not in a negative way, but just sheltered, like this is all like kind of new. But I found it in myself to just go, not be afraid, do what I had to do, and it's been like the best experience ever. Something I did learn whilst I was there is wherever I am, I just want to be happy. And it sounds very silly, but I watched Moana. I don't know if you're aware of Moana, the Disney film. And one of the songs really spoke to me because the dad is telling Moana that, you know, where they are in this village is where she belongs, and like, even if you don't feel like it, happiness should be wherever you are. And I'm very like Disney kind of oriented, so that spoke a lot to me. But I just felt like it was confirmation that, yeah, I'm here right now. Whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, I want to be happy. If I'm in China, if I'm in England, like I've learned that happiness is where I want to be. If I'm confused about career paths and stuff like that, as long as I'm happy, that's the main thing. So if you want to explore China, go and visit China. Opportunities are there. It's very cheap as well. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I've got.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to say? Or?
It's okay. I think that's it. I mean, you kind of touched most of the areas, so.